What's going on, you all? Welcome back to Renegade Gaming. Today, we are going to be talking to my brother Royce about eFootball. Yes, with Lionel Messi right there, as you can see on your screen now. We're going to be talking about eFootball. I was going to put it on my webcam and everything like that, but I changed my mind because I am recording in a closet and I don't want to have it to where, yeah. So let's get going. We got Royce here, aka JJ Tubb. He is my brother. He is a YouTuber as well. Go ahead and check out all his links in the description. Royce, where can they find you first and foremost? And we'll get into the information.
Yeah, you could find me on YouTube at JJ Tubb. You can find me on Twitter at Royce Lewis. Same thing with Instagram as well. Those are the three I'm mostly active on. So check me out on there if you want to see anything else from me. But first, watch this video till the end because you guys are not going to want to miss this one.
So, thank you for that, Royce. This is a new sort of series idea that I've thought about only because now I think you did bring this up to me a while back, Royce, about, hey, Dom, why don't you have it to where we can talk about like certain games and everything like that that are going to be coming out and all that fun stuff? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like that, I think you brought it up a while back, right?
I think that's
A
probably in
while
like
back,
the
though.
early days of your channel, bro. When you brought back the streams and things
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
on the old channel. It's probably, I think it was probably around that time. That was, what, about a year ago
Yeah,
now?
a while back. A while back, yeah, bro.
Wow.
100%. So,
Yeah.
pretty much, this is a game that my brother Royce, he enjoys more often than I have over the past couple years. I feel like that's fair to say only because I just
Mhm.
had no real interest in playing eFootball, PES, or any of that over the years because it was just not my cup of tea. Their licensing is chalked. They've started to get better at their licensing and everything like that, but they've also just, like, see here, what we're going to be talking about is a lot of interesting things because their Master League, which everyone's so well, they only played PES because of Master League because it was better than FIFA's career mode, but it looks like they're not even
Mm.
going to bring that back, right, Royce? You think?
Well, that's the thing. From certain reports, they're saying that it could be a DLC. Whether it's going to be paid or not paid, we don't know for sure yet. But there might be a DLC Master League. I'm not sure what the entire strategy is for that. I'm not sure why they can't just do what they've been doing. There was nothing wrong with it. It was fine. It was, I'd say, somewhat enjoyable, but it might be a DLC from what some people are saying.
Right, which why would you want to pay? See, and here's the issue, I think, which we're going to get right into it. We're going to be talking about the trailer and everything like that. But the issue I see is this, right? You have a free game, and the mode that people only play the game for, like Master League, is going to be a paid DLC, possibly. That sounds pretty disgraceful, in my opinion, because for years they've been, working on a specific plan and a specific opportunity. Like, literally, they purposely didn't make a game last year because they were going to work so much on it. So, where can they go from the point where they have an audience, hardcore PES players, or as we know now, eFootball, trademarked and everything, who played the game for certain reasons, who didn't really care about the rest of the stuff, but then you force this upon them, and then it screws everything up. It's just like, what's the point?
Mhm.
And if you all don't know about the history between PES and FIFA, this is pretty much to sum it up, okay? PES is a gaming company who makes all kinds of interesting games. Trying to think about it, they make action adventure games, they make role playing games and stuff like that. But they've also, over the years, over the past, 25, 26 years, have put in their hand in the mix of sports games such as soccer, as we call it in America, but football, as people call it overseas. And they've been trying to compete with FIFA, the other soccer company, for years. They've been trying to take licensing off of them and things of that sort. And now we're at a crossroads where Me and my brother Royce are hardcore FIFA people. We love the games and everything like that. Yes, it has its issues, but it's better than PES. At least that's what we tell ourselves every single year. So
Right.
seeing where we are at a point where FIFA is still king because PES had two, well, Jesus.
Two years.
eFootball had 2 years to create a better game. So what would you say about that, Royce, you think? And then we'll hop into the trailer.
Yeah. You know what? I started like the first time I played PES, obviously before all the the eFootball and whatnot. First time I started playing PES was I want to say PES 2019 with Coutinho on the cover. It was one of those experiences, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was one of my brother's track meets. You can check him out, Mr. VBK6.
Yep, his link will be in the
Um,
description as well.
Yep. And pretty much I was playing that PES the entire day, man. Like I'm telling you, I was making jerseys, I was playing like it wasn't bad. I was trying to like, see what the hype was about it. Safe to say, I bought it the next year. I played the light the next year. So PES 2020 I played, and PES 2021 light I played, and 2019, of course. So the reason why I bought PES those 3 years was because of the fact that it was an alternative, right? When you play like say like battle royale games, usually people don't just play, Warzone. They'll have Warzone and let's say Fortnite, or some people are just Warzone guys, and that's fine. But for me, I wanted to try something different. So the fact that 3 years later, 2 years later, they're going to completely change that, throw away everything, including the Master League. That literally is the only reason why anybody plays their game, if I'm being honest. And then replace it with a Fortnite type sports game. I don't get it. There's supposed to be like a battle pass in it now. It's free to play. This isn't what people wanted after 2 years of working on it. So there's a lot of issues with it, which we'll get into once we get into the trailer stuff. But overall, I think it's a massive disappointment. It's a big letdown, in terms of Konami and eFootball, PES, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just super disappointed. I'm very disappointed with what we have here.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that because, see, we are soccer fans at heart. We love the sport, we love the game, we love the licensing, we love the players. And at least for me, right, who's someone who has always been a career mode person who plays through the career mode, the road to glory, right? The Manchester United career modes, the stuff like that that's important to me because you create a connection with the players who you've basically learned and developed their skills to such a point where they're basically the best in the world and just
Mhm.
something like a PES. Now, Grant, I've never been here again. I'll say it again. I've never been a big fan of PES, but PES is just one of those games where, see, let's just say the other sports companies are lucky they don't have anybody to compete with. NBA 2K doesn't have anybody to compete with. Actually, 2K Sports for that matter, right? Including WWE has
Mhm.
no one else as a
Yeah.
competitor, right? Including Madden as well, right? The only sports franchises that compete, well, quote unquote, compete against each other, because as we know, PES isn't up to par, and a lot of gameplay mechanics and licensing and stuff like that. We have those two. We have eFootball now, and we have FIFA 22, which is going to be coming out in the late fall. But
Mhm.
now it's time to talk about the trailer. And if you haven't seen the trailer, again, we will leave the link in the description box down below of this video if you want to see it. It's 6 minutes long, but pretty much a long story short, it's extremely disappointing. Okay, it's extremely disappointing because we have a player by the name of Andres Iniesta and Gerard Piqué. Nothing against these guys. Obviously, they were the best in their sport, period, at the time they were in their prime. So, like the 2010 World Cup, 2014 World Cup, etc. Right? But we've gotten to a place where what we see in like the FIFA trailers, right, is we see young prospects, we see exciting players. Mbappe, right, the number one exciting prospect in the world. Basically, he's already there. So we see these guys, right? But then PES, aka Akunami, they give us Andres Iniesta, who's 37 years old, playing in China, and they give us Gerard Piqué, who's 34 years old, playing for FC Barcelona. And
Oh, and by the
yeah,
way, just to clarify, he plays for the Japanese league, by the
oh,
way.
sorry,
Just
sorry. My apologies.
yes.
That's right. That's right. He plays in the Japanese league. Even worse. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so here. Nothing against those leagues, except as you get older, as a retired player and stuff like that, you tend to, lose your speed. You tend to lose your skills and everything like that. Not that he's a bad player right now. It's just he's older. Okay. But you see what they bring to the table. Now I know Iniesta's a partner with Konami because he is in Japan and everything like that, and he's partnered with PES basically, or Jesus, eFootball. I keep having to correct myself because see what they're trying to do is they're trying to make an esports out of something that I mean, well, yeah. So so we will watch the trailer and everything. It's 6 minutes long and it's just extremely disappointing from take to take. And I'll let Royce handle this part because he's more detailed than I am with the trailers. But I will say this: one of the cutscenes in the trailer showed Juve, right, aka Juventus, the Italian giants. Okay, with Cristiano Ronaldo, he doesn't even look like Cristiano Ronaldo. He has like blonde hair, a comb over. Like, what the are we doing, dude? Like, what did we do? And Messi, he doesn't really look like Messi or like that either. And it looks like they've taken a step back on their graphics because they're also catering to mobile games as well. So,
And
yeah, please, Royce, please.
I'm glad.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because it it kind of leads to the point that a lot of people are making. What exactly are you showing us? Not in terms of like, obviously we know this is eFootball, PES 2022, whatever you want to call it. But what are you showing us? Is this PS5? Is this PS4? Is this Xbox Series? I don't even think it's next gen, if I'm being honest. Like what they showed in this trailer isn't even next gen. Like I could put money on that. That's probably not next gen. If that is next gen, then we have a massive problem. I mean, a massive problem. There's certain parts in the trailer where you can see people sliding all over the pitch while they're trying to do a skill move. There's a clear like if you go to around the end of the trailer with Messi scoring a volley, and you slow that down to like 0.25 frames per second, you could see him literally slide across the grass just so he could get the volley. Like, why are you keeping that in the trailer? I don't get it. Graphics look like PES 2020, if I'm being honest, not even PES 2021. Obviously, they have that new daylight nighttime feature where, like, the sky looks good and whatnot. Stadiums always look fantastic in PES. I'm not going to knock that, but players still look like they're cartoons. It looks like I'm watching like Teen Titans Go or something like that. Um, and what's the color design on this? Why is it blue and yellow? Who said that was a good idea? The kit like that they're showing for PES, it's straight hot garbage. Like I don't mean to be picky, but there's certain colors that go well to make people say, "Hey, I want to buy that." And I'm sorry, but blue and yellow doesn't make anybody say, "I want to buy that game." Another thing is that it's going to be a digital only game. So you can't even buy a disc for it. Like, what you just can't pay the money for the discs or something? Like, I don't get that. I'm trying to think of like some other things that I saw during the trailer before we get into like the quote unquote features of the game. But it's just little stuff, little things. They showed that trailer last year of Messi and how the next gen graphics and the Unreal Engine how it'll look, and I got pretty hyped for it. But like, if I knew this is what we were getting, I wouldn't have gotten hyped for it. Like I know Dom. I told you like PES has the potential of possibly being better than FIFA this year, and boy was I wrong. Like um, tremendously wrong. It's terrible. It's really bad. Um, yeah, that's what I got on in terms of graphics and things like that. If you want to go into the quote unquote features of the game. We can do that next if you want.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. And it's just one of those things, guys, where see, not a lot of people understand this. Where why we create podcasts and why we try to shed some light on new games coming out and stuff like that, which that's what we're going to start doing because it's important to let people
Mm-hmm.
know, hey, here's our opinion of a game, whether you like it or not. At the end of the day, we're going to be as honest as we can be with you guys because we don't want it to be a here we don't want it to be a factor where, well, this game company's paying us, which obviously nobody is paying us for any of this. So basically, we are doing this because we want to produce content this way, right? But at the end of the day, we don't want to be those people who, hey, changing because we want to provide a false narrative. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't. And we're at a place where we want a good soccer game. We want a good football game. We don't want to be sitting here in 2021 still complaining about graphics, licensing
Mm-hmm.
issues, and not having enough for your game. Now, granted, right? We can say all these things like we can cut people slack and everything. Like, well, it's because this happened or this, because the pandemic. No, no. EFootball has had 2 years to develop itself. We got the Unreal Engine. So wait a second. You're telling me, Royce, this, okay? That the
Mm-hmm.
Unreal Engine is going to run on iOS and Android. Is that
See,
is that what's going to
that's the
happen, or
thing.
are we going to get the iOS Android graphics on PlayStation 5?
Yeah, which I'm glad you brought that up as well because I completely forgot about that. So according to the I don't know what you want to call him, the PES spokesperson. I don't know what you want to call it. He works for Konami. Oh shoot, hello.
Uh, yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't know
know
what happened there.
what the heck
No,
happened,
but
bro. Sorry about that. Okay.
yeah, no. According to the PES like spokesperson, like the main guy or something like that, Konami's main guy. Apparently, okay, what they're gonna do is what they did was they made a game for console, and then they're like trying to make it so that it's caters to mobile as well. It's super confusing because that means you're gonna have to dumb down a lot of things. I'm not the greatest at PES whatsoever. I never claimed to be great at PES. I'm definitely not. Um, but it's one of those things where there's certain things that you have to do in PES that are just different to FIFA. It's much more complicated. You need to have some sort of football IQ in order to play that game. So you'll have a certain button that does this and a certain button that does that, which all games has, but it's just much more complicated when it comes to PES. So what people are saying is, how are you going to continue to put that onto mobile? Because mobile, you can't do that unless you're going to use a mobile controller, but nobody has the money to buy a $30 mobile controller, if we're being honest. So some people are going to be playing touchscreen. So you can't put like 15 different buttons onto a touchscreen layout and then say, oh, here's cross gen or cross console or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, cross platform, they're calling it. So how is that going to work? So there's no possible. Well, no. Apparently, you can use Unreal Engine for mobile to answer your question, but I don't know which phones are gonna be able to run that besides the iPhone 12 and then possibly the iPhone 13 whenever that comes out. So maybe even some of the Samsungs because I know a lot of people who play PES mobile are on Samsung. So there's a lot of things that are just super confusing about it and why they're making this decision as if this is supposed to be like the next big like battle royale game. This isn't even a battle royale game, it's a sports game. How is this going to work? You can't do cross gen and cross platform and then with a sports game it just doesn't work. There's not enough buttons and controls you can put on mobile that's going to cater to both and keep it even. You got to dumb down one of them, and if you're going to dumb down one of them, that means you're going to have to dumb down the console edition because that's the one with the most complicated features. So we're going to practically play a game that's like mobile. And a lot of people were complaining about that during the online beta test. Like nobody wants to play a mobile game on console. The entire reason why we bought a 200, 300, $500 console is so that we can play something that's different from mobile. And so now you're going to dumb that down just so you can cater to the mobile audience, just because more people play your mobile game than they do your actual game. So it's really frustrating, and I don't like getting passionate about PES because I'm not the like I said, I don't play a lot of PES in recent, you know, days. Um but it's one of those things where if you want to compete with FIFA and you want to take down the giants, you gotta bring in more effort than this. Like this is just not gonna cut it at all. It's really frustrating.
The issue is as well, it's like it's literally like this. It's like FIFA said, you know what, guys? Because we care about everybody on every platform, including iOS and all that, Nintendo Switch included, we are going to make FIFA free, right? One. And that's the only thing that eFootball has that I feel like, in a way, they're kind of making sure they're, not selling this product properly. Because if they had to make sales goals and everything like that for this game, this company is going to go bankrupt this year. Period. Because
Mhm.
they will not get people to buy this game. They will not. And that's why they had to make it free. Because if it's free, then there's a bunch of, as we like to call in the sports world, microtransactions that people will spend money on because they want the best players and everything like that. And that's what's going to happen with this. So what eFootball is trying to do is they're trying to get out ahead of all the other sports games, quote unquote, right? To produce a game that's free, but also caters to every single person in every single area. And like Roy said, how does I... Who's going to
Mhm.
have the competitive advantage, right? PlayStation 5 or iOS? Like, seriously, like, what are we doing? Like, why do we have a game where most likely one of these systems, if you think about it, is going to be overpowered? You know that, like 100%, because see, that's how it's going to operate. Because you can't have a game that is going to feature on multiple platforms, including your phone, that is going to be
Mhm.
fair for everyone. It's not. Some
Yeah,
people on
and
iOS,
that's why
go
I
ahead.
said yeah, that's why I said they have to dumb down the controls. That's the only way that you keep it even. The only platform that I see having a competitive advantage is literally the computer now, because console and mobile are pretty much the same thing now. Like that's done and dusted. Like that has to happen. It's literally people with PCs are going to be the ones with competitive advantage unless there's somehow, unless they fix the whole hacking situation. But I mean, then again, this isn't a an EA we're talking about or a 2K we're talking about. We're talking about Konami. It's not one of the biggest franchises, so there's going to be a lot of hacking in this game for sure if you're going to make it cross console between Xbox and PlayStation and mobile and whatnot. So there's a lot of things that are just not right about this entire situation.
What I feel like is going to be the most interesting part, though, is this, honestly, is that, see, obviously, guys, on this channel, on Renegade Gaming, we are going to be playing this game, okay? Period. We are going to try it out and see how it is. If I don't like it, I'm not going to keep playing it, right? And that's what I feel like happened in the past with the few games I've played on this channel, but I've gotten bored of them. Rocket League, for one. Now, why would I compare Rocket League in a way to PES? Because Rocket League is a soccer game, but it's with cars. It also has a Rocket Pass, which is like the battle pass in Fortnite, which everyone has to copy Fortnite now all of a sudden because they realize they make more money on battle pass points and stuff like that than they do on their actual game. So that's why they make it free, and that's why Rocket League was made free as well. So with Rocket League though, here's the interesting thing, right? Is yes, you're playing against everybody. You're playing against PlayStation 5, you're playing against PlayStation 4, playing as Xbox One, Xbox Series X, all that, PC as well, and Nintendo Switch, okay? At least that's in the realm of controller based consoles, right? Obviously, there are people who play on mouse and keyboard on Rocket League, which I don't know how you do that, but that is just an amazing talent to have. But it's not like, okay, Rocket League wakes up one day, a successful game as well, just so you know, because there's nothing to compete against it, right?
Mhm.
They say, you know what, guys, screw everyone. I just want to add in iOS and Android. And I guarantee you, their player base is going to fall off because, like Roy said, you got to dumb down these settings. You got to dumb down the graphics. You got to dumb down something because not everyone's going to get the same experience, right? And I
Mhm.
get it. I get it. You're trying to include people who can't afford consoles. You're trying to include people who can't afford this. Well, if that's the case, then uh, see, if that's the case, then every game has to be like that then. But it's only
Mhm.
Konami who, out of 2 years of working on this game, right, just to make it look like the same game it looked like the last time they created a game, this is going to be here. I don't want to call it a disaster yet because I haven't played it, right? But once I get my experience, I play a couple. I'm actually, yeah, probably gonna play about what 20 hours of the game or something like that, right? Just to figure out, okay, how's it gonna go? How's it gonna be? And obviously, if I enjoy it, I enjoy it. If I don't, I don't. But at the end of the day, it's just not gonna be a lasting game. And another point, Royce, what we were talking about yesterday is this:
Mhm.
how's it going to work when you have a game, right? Like FIFA that comes out every single year and they're going to keep profiting off of their game because everyone knows that PES hasn't caught up, right? How are they
Mhm.
going to update the rosters and everything like that? Do you think, here's the
Exactly.
thing, do you think it's going to be one of those situations like a Warzone where they constantly change the map? They constantly add new guns. They do this, they do that to keep the game alive? Or do you think after the first year it's going to die?
You know what? And that's the thing that I brought up as well. So the only possible way, and that's why you notice that they don't call it eFootball 2022. They call it eFootball, just eFootball. Fortnite's not called Fortnite 2017. It's just called Fortnite. Warzone's not called Warzone 2020. It's called Warzone. And it's like that for a reason. The only way that they can change these rosters is by having a what do you call it? A season update
Here, here,
every
here, here,
year.
here.
Once a year, there has to be a season update. No, actually,
Here,
no, twice a
here.
year because you're talking about the January transfer window
What
as
they
well.
would need to do, Royce, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, see, now this is where we get into dangerous territory because I think what they're gonna have to do is what Warzone has had to do, right? Make it a big
Mm-hmm.
ass game, okay, a massive game, and every time
Mm-hmm.
you update it, it's adding to your storage. And who in the hell wants to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's,
Nobody.
see, you see what I mean? You're the same person who just uninstalled Warzone because you just weren't playing it and you knew it was dead. And so,
Yeah.
say, Grant,
And it kept eating at the
yeah.
storage as well because they kept
So,
updating it every 2 seconds.
so
So,
how are we gonna create a game like a see? And this is where, in a way, I have to agree with the sports companies, right? In a way, except eFootball, but Madden,
of
right?
course.
FIFA, NBA 2K, all these companies, even the WWE 2K series, right? Here's where I have
Mm-hmm.
to agree with them. I understand why they come out with a new game, well, close to every year, right? Because it makes them more money each year and it's a new feeling to the game. And basically, players have to relearn it. With
Yes.
PES,
Yes.
with PES, you're gonna have people who have mastered the bleep out of the game unless there's corrections over time, right? Which the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with Warzone. People have mastered Warzone. But it's the professional players who prevail because they play the game 10 hours a day. And someone like me who works for 12 to 14 hours a day, I don't have time to be sitting there streaming,
Mm-hmm.
and playing a crazy amount of one game. I just don't. Damn it, I hardly have enough time to even play what I'm playing now, and that's Assassin's Creed Valhalla occasionally. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So see, this is the issue. But then again, with PES, in a way, I think I think it could work unless they update it every single time and change the gameplay all the time. Then it won't
And
work.
don't.
But if they keep it maintained and people are able to master the game, obviously they will get bored unless they add some new things to it. Because
Mm-hmm.
nah, fam,
Yeah. See,
you
here, here,
can't.
here. You just reminded me of what I said yesterday. Okay. I said this entire eFootball thing has literally made me realize why they make a new game out every year. Literally, how are you going to update this game? say something's broken with it, right? Say finesse shots are broken and you can't score a finesse shot, or say dribbling past defenders is way too easy. You can't just you know fix that problem and not expect a massive update with that, at least like 15, 20, 30 gigabytes. So which means you'll have a Warzone situation where you're constantly updating that game, and now you got a 200 gigabyte game that's eating up all your storage. And what's it called? Those terabyte things are like $100, and not everybody can afford one. Trust me, I can't even afford one right now, if I'm being honest. So you I realize that why FIFA and Madden and 2K do this is because, well, yeah, you do have to take time in order to fix those updates and not literally eat up people's storage by making a 200 gigabyte game. So you got to, take that time, wait it out for about a year or two, update that, fix that, do this and that and the other, update the rosters, and then you got a new game modes as well, because you can't just add game modes into a game, because that's also going to eat up storage as well, which is probably what's going to happen with that Master League DLC. So it's really complicated. I'm not sure what their strategy is with this. I'm hoping they know what they're doing. I don't think they do if they're trying to make this like a Rocket League or a Fortnite type thing. And now you have a lot of issues with it. Cards are going to get outdated as well. Are you going to give us new card designs every year? Because this game is looking like it's just going to be I think they call it My Club or something like that. So it looks like it's just going to be solely that until next year. I think that they said the DLC will probably come out. So you're going to have to give us new card designs at least a few times every year. You got to give us new rewards a few times every year. Got to update the rosters a few times every year. You got to do all of this. You got to add new game modes, because nobody's going to play My Club and Master League every 2 seconds in your game. So there's just too much wrong with this, and I'm not sure what the game plan is in general. You have the roadmap and things like that, but that's not even clear at all. It literally had to take me watching other people explaining it just to get it. So, man, there's just too much wrong with this, especially that, and it kind of makes you somewhat appreciate, even though the games are still pretty bad. Sports games in general are pretty bad, if we're all being honest. But it kind of makes you realize, well, here's why they do what they do, is because of, well, what eFootball is trying to do. Like, it just doesn't work.
Let me say this. Now, granted, it may come back to haunt me, but I'm going to say it right now, okay? What we are seeing, Royce, is this. This
Mhm.
is PES giving up. Why do I say it like
Yeah.
that? Because when you do something like this, like, oh, and by the way, another game that went free now is Destiny 2. And you can buy the
Mhm.
DLC stuff and everything. You see what I mean? So,
Yeah.
see, it's Destiny 2, it's Rocket League, it's Fortnite, it's Apex now as well, it's Warzone, right? It's those 4 or 5 games that all have the system. And this is PES. Oh, Jesus. This is eFootball giving up, because when you really think about it, right? They've watched FIFA be the kings, still have almost all the licensing except the 2 or 3 licensings, right? And they're like, damn, you know what? How can we compete with a multi-billion-dollar company who has all these resources, has all this money and things like that? And again, they had 2 years, right? They purposely took a break. Another series I don't think is going to come back is NBA Live. So
Mm.
when you really break this stuff down, right? Oh yeah, duh. That was what was trying to compete with NBA 2K is NBA Live. Yeah, boom. So
Mhm.
when you really break this stuff down and you look at, okay, what can Konami be thinking with what they're doing right here? They're not thinking at all, because they've gotten to the point where, hey, for 25, 26 years we've been competing with FIFA, and we can't topple them in sales, we can't topple them in gameplay, we can't topple them in any of the most important things that it takes to make a quality sports game. So you know what we're going to do? Not only are we going to make it free so that people can't complain to us about, well, I paid money on the game, because no, you didn't, right? But we are also going to make sure we make this our last hurrah. Because, guys, when we really think about it, where after eFootball, where does Konami go? You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Where does this
Hmm.
company go after this? It's like Call of Duty. Once you created Warzone, once you created a Battle Royale game mode for your Call of Duty player base, no one's going back to multiplayer. And if they are, it's just to get skins. Like, that's it. And that's what we
Hmm.
need to remember with, yes, shooters are different than sports games, 100%. But what Konami is trying
Yeah.
to do is they're trying to get out ahead of something. I don't know what they know that we don't know, but it looks like they're trying to get out ahead of something. Again, I'm going to try the game, right? Obviously, because it's free. I mean, when something's free, sign me up right now, sir. Okay? I will play the game and, provide my honest opinion. But at the end of the day, no, I will not be spending money on microtransactions or anything like that, but I'll play the game for what it is to see how it is. And if I get bored, I'm not going to play it again. That's my mindset on games nowadays because I don't have time to be wasting, right, playing games I don't enjoy. Especially with my schedule, it's so full that, see, what I feel like PES is going to work for is the casual person. Because what they won't do is rush you to play the game, right? Especially because, as we know, it's free. I mean, anybody can hop on at any time. That's why Destiny made their game free and created a battle pass of their own. That's why Rocket League made their game free. And guys, remember, Rocket League came out in 2015 and they just made their game free. And Destiny came out in 2017 and they just made their game free. So, what we're looking at nowadays, people, is game companies are growing wise, right? Or at least they believe they are. They're growing wise to the fact that free games mean, oh, let's add this little stuff in, seasons, right? Microtransactions at its finest, so that if you want something, then you can buy it. And if you sell a battle pass for what, $20, right? A $20 battle pass, and a million people, okay? A million people buy the battle pass, hey, quick math, that's $20 million. So so what they're doing is they're trying to bank on the fact, literally bank on the fact that their microtransactions and pack system will create them revenue. Now, now, I will say it's possible that Konami's probably like, you know what, this is the way for sports games and hope everyone falls in line. But I believe that they're just doing this because they know they can't compete anymore with what FIFA provides. So why not create a game, right, that we worked on for 2 years that looks the damn same as it did 2 years ago, right? And see what happens next, basically. So, yeah, don't have a lot else to say about them because, I mean, at the end of the day, I watched the trailer 3 times. It's not as exciting as many people make it out to be, and a lot of people don't like it. Trust me, a lot of the hardcore PES fans are not fans of eFootball because it's basically going away from its core values and falling into the trap that everyone else has set up for themselves, right? Even though, as we know, a successful game, Fortnite, Warzone, successful. Um, Apex, even though a lot of us, he believe it's boring, is successful still because of how it's set up. We are experiencing a new world, okay, where we have people who are making free games because they know and they're trying to bank on money coming in through microtransactions that will propel them forward into making another game 3, 4, 5 years from now that is better than what they previously made.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with what you said. I think this is Konami giving up, but I think this is just them giving up in with PES in general. I think they're just done making these games. Because if you really think about it, right? If they really cared enough to like work 2 years on one game, they would have gave us everything that FIFA doesn't have right now. We would have had a creative club. Would have had a career mode that's immersive. We would have had great graphics, great gameplay. We would have had what else? What else? My club that was fun to play, or ultimate team type mode that was fun to play. Licensing, all this sort of stuff. But They didn't. They just said, you know what? Here's a battle royale type thing. Take it or leave it. Like I know some people wanted battle royale in FIFA, but not a battle royale, battle pass in FIFA for pro clubs because that game mode is so boring and there's nothing they do to that game mode. But nobody wanted them to completely PES to completely change their entire game so that they can make what a quick 20K. Like, let's just be honest. There's not enough people who play this game that's gonna buy the battle pass uh, every
Here,
couple
here.
months.
That's
Mm-hmm.
where you're wrong, though, Royce. And here's why I say that. Why do you
Mm-hmm.
think they made it for everybody, bro? You see what I mean? So
Yeah,
they do
but then
believe.
you look at the
No,
numbers though.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right, right. That was on what, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One at the time. At the time we were playing it, that was on PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Hey, Royce, that's only two consoles, bro. You know what I mean? So when
Mm-hmm.
you expand it to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch most likely is going to be a part of that crew, iOS and Android, Royce, see, that's where in that stance I need to disagree with you because see there are going to be people who play it strictly because it's free. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. So many of us, now granted, not me, but so many of us have mobile games, right? Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's Clash of Clans or any of those other games, Subway Surfer, right? Where we play the game, we play the game, we play the game, and we just have it in our phone to have it in our phone. And when we want something, we get it, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
see, with PES, trust me, Royce, I believe it's not going to be the best game in the world, obviously, but I do believe that they are banking on, and why they opened it up to everybody was because they believe they'll be able to make enough money back to the point where if they wanted to create a new soccer game or any other game for that matter, they can definitely do that. So yeah, yes, not enough people played it in the past, but it also cost money, right? It cost what, $60, and then on sale it costs like $40. No one's paying that shit for
Mm-hmm.
PES, okay? Unless you're a hardcore guy, okay? But yeah, see, that's where in a way I have to disagree with you because see, people will spend money on mobile games. Trust me, I know a few people
Right.
who spend a bunch of money on like packs and stuff like that on their phone, bro. Not on console,
Mm-hmm.
on their phone. And that money
And
adds
that's
up,
the
brother.
thing.
It adds up.
Yeah. No, that's the thing though. If they really wanted to do that, right? This entire concept would have been solely for the mobile game because I played the mobile game. It's not like, like for you guys who think that I haven't played it, I played the console version and the mobile version. In my opinion, for the longest, besides the Master League, the mobile version was better than the actual console version. The console version wasn't fun. I didn't like playing my club and literally packing these great players straight off the gate, but then everybody's really good at the game. So like there's no competition in it whatsoever. So it's packing these great players for nothing. So people play it for the mods, and they have some great mods on PES as well. The PS4, PS5 players, they play it for the USB stick so that they can import jerseys and things like that, custom jerseys. And then, I mean, if we're being honest, nobody plays on Xbox, but I guess the Xbox players play it for fun. So it's one of those things where why change when you already have something that, I mean, they were making money off of, and now you're just going to solely put it onto one thing. And now you don't have like money coming from three separate consoles, no, or three or four separate consoles. No, you're coming from like one big platform, I guess you can say, and it just doesn't work with sports games at all. Um, I'm interested slightly to see how this progresses in the next 4 or 5 months. But if I'm being honest, this game is probably gonna fail. If I'm being honest, you'll probably get those people who play it every now and then. But I mean, when I play PES on Xbox and PlayStation 20 and 21, you can't even get into a match. I mean, unless you go to a different country. So, and that's the thing. They're not going to make a lot of money off of the Americans because, or North American, you know, people because I mean, we play FIFA. I mean, if I go to somebody on my team, I don't say, "Hey, yo, you want to play PES?" No, I say, "Hey, you want to play FIFA?" So, I mean, I just don't get what the marketing strategy is. They purposely didn't say anything for over a year for a game they've been working on 2 years to give us this, and that's the main thing that's super disappointing. Now, if they would have just said, "Hey, here's this for the time being. We're still working on it. We're gonna get things back, in track, and we're gonna give you a game next year." Okay, fine. I'll wait. I'll play this for like a month and then I'll stop. And then by the time that next version came out, gladly, I'll play that all day probably. But it's the fact that this is what we're getting. Like, we're not getting anything else besides a DLC. And then again, we don't even know if that's actually a thing, that Master League DLC. So,
Now, I'll say this real quick, right? Is
mm-hmm,
at the end of the day, if it is successful, me and Royce will come back on this channel and we'll, say, hey,
yeah,
we were wrong at the time. But
yeah,
see, when all the red flags are there, trust me,
mm-hmm,
Royce, okay, he told me. He told me about Cyberpunk. He told me about Ghost Recon
mm-hmm.
Breakpoint. He told me, and I said, you know what? I want to give Ghost Recon Breakpoint a chance. I
Hyperscape
gave,
as well,
oh,
though.
and Hyperscape, which is also a battle royale game, but no one talks about it because it's trash. Okay, but
Yeah.
here's the thing, though, right? My point is this, okay? We have someone on the call who has seen these things transpire and has tried to warn me, okay? Warn me about Breakpoint, which nobody plays, right? Warn me about
Mhm.
Cyberpunk, which I didn't play, but I watched an entire gameplay walkthrough on YouTube of it, right? And all the bugs and
Mhm.
glitches and issues it had. So it's not like we have someone on the call who doesn't know what he's talking about. And man, if anyone says, well, he doesn't know, no, he does. Trust me.
Mhm.
Trust me. At this point, he's more knowledgeable on this topic than I am, and I'm older than him by 7, 8 years. So trust me. I understand where a lot of people may be like, you know what, I don't know, I don't believe them. Especially the eFootball fans and the FIFA fans are probably gonna be like, well, they don't know what they're talking about. No, we do know what we're talking about. But at the end of the day, we will come back on here with no shame at all and be like, okay, we were wrong back in July. But but until that happens, this is our
Yeah.
opinion. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, that's not the point. The point is to get informed about what's happening in the sports community, in the soccer community, in the football community. So that's a little disclaimer. Now, granted, it's 48 minutes in, but that's a disclaimer that I want to let you all know that that's what we're going to be about on this channel. Because at this point in time, see, there's nothing to play. There's literally nothing to play if you have a next gen console, unless you want to play, the PlayStation 4 games and stuff like that that are enhanced for PlayStation 5. But there's nothing to play on next gen. So yes, it's great to have a
Mhm.
PS5, but at the end of the day, we will be the ones who are able to try these games out on next gen because we have them now. But we will experiment. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me, YouTube. We will experiment. We will be doing what we have to do and making sure that we're giving it a thorough test and not, playing an hour and then being like, man, I'm bored. No. We will play these games and see if we were right or we were wrong. But at one point, right? Again, like Roy said, it's not like they've been working on this, less than a year. They've been working on this thing for 2 years during the pandemic and everything. So it's not like they haven't had time to think about these things. Now, granted, they may know what they're doing, but until I see it happen and until I see it being successful, I'm not going to give anything to them. You know what I mean? Granted, I'll play your game, but I'm not spending money on it. And that's, again, why I believe they made it free because they realized they were going to get backlash. And when they said, hey, you know what, guys? We need to make this game for free. Otherwise, a bunch of people are going to be wanting their money back. That's when
Mhm.
I think, oh, okay, wait a second. You know what? That sounds like a good idea. But I also feel like eFootball is going into the future and saying, you know what? We believe this is our best long-term course of action because at least we don't have to keep on making new games every year. Even though, see, here's what people forget. Okay, Madden, um, NBA 2K, and FIFA are all multi-billion-dollar companies. Okay, multi-billion-dollar companies. They make multiple billions of dollars a year. Okay, with their transactions and their store.
Mhm.
Okay, PES, NBA Live, as we know, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Okay? It's gone. It's off the face of the earth. The last thing they made was NBA Live 19, right, Royce?
Yep.
Yeah. So so that's why these companies do what they do. That's why PES does what they do because they realize, hey, at the end of the day, man, I can't compete with FIFA. Nah, man, nah, I can't. The gameplay's better in FIFA, in my opinion. The graphics are better in FIFA, in my opinion. The stadium has picked up, right, and now it's better in FIFA, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, here's the thing, guys. These companies only want your money, okay? Period. And if you don't spend money on their game, that's when they sink and they go downhill. See, why NBA Live failed, in my opinion, is because they didn't have a NBA 2K My Team type game mode where they could, you know, have all the flashy card designs and everything like that, right? Or they didn't have the budget, right? And that's why a lot of these companies, even the WWE, I mean, let's be honest, Royce, right? Even the WWE had to take a break, and they're only competing with themselves because they aren't
Yeah.
making the money they need to make because they don't have an ultimate team mode to put into their game where you can open packs consistently and get the wrestler you want. That see
Right. But
so.
for
Mm.
yeah, for WWE though, it's slightly
Oh
different
yeah.
only because the reason why they had to stop was because they completely lost their what do you call it? Their engine. Their engine's Ukes. They dipped to make the AEW games. So they released 2K20, and I think everybody like who plays video games has heard of WWE 2K20 and their glitches. It was just bad. It was really bad, and it's one of those things where if it has to take an entire game engine to leave your company for you to finally wake up and say, hey bro, what do we do? What are we doing? We need to give the people what they want. I mean, some of these sports games probably need to have that happen where they're just engine leaves, but no, they're getting paid what, millions of
No,
dollars just so they
no,
can
Royce.
continue to
No,
with the
Royce.
same crap
Royce.
every year.
Royce. Billions
Mm-hmm.
of dollars, bro. When you
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Last thing. Last thing that I'll talk about before we end this, okay? Is when you
Mm-hmm.
look at a company like FIFA, when you look at a company like EA Sports in general, honestly, bro, like they the money this company makes is not a
Mm-hmm.
joke. It's not
Mm-hmm.
because they have found a system and they've gained the system. Now people are trying to sue
Yeah.
because it's a gambling thing. It's a gambling. Well, first and foremost, you should be watching your kids what they're doing
Oh
on their
yeah.
games first of all, so that they don't get trapped and ensnared into pack openings and all the other nonsense. Because see, now granted, I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, okay? I'm not. I'm not. It's their job. It's them. They're content creators. But at the end of the day, like, let me put out a few names, right? Castro, Nepenthes, Bateson, AA9 Skills, all these guys. Like, seriously, one of their accounts is a paid to win account where they spend money, thousands and thousands of dollars, because it's their job. So I'm not going to blame them, right? But it's gotten to the point where kids are, complaining to the government agencies and stuff like that. But it's just like, fam, I mean, your parent or whoever's your guardian has failed you because they weren't watching over you while you were spending their credit card money, right? While you were doing your thing on packs. See, and that's the thing. Now, granted,
Mm-hmm.
I don't condone any of it. Trust me. I don't open packs strictly for that reason because it's just a bunch of BS, right? But, but see, once you get ensnared, right? here, my mom and I were just talking about Chuck E. Cheese, right? Hey, think about it, okay, Royce? Think about it. Chuck E. Cheese's, right?
Oh, you dumb. You're on mute.
Oh, okay. Shoot, shoot. Uh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. My apologies, Royce. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, okay. So, oh, I was literally talking to mom about Chuck E. Cheese's, right? Chuck E. Cheese's
Hmm.
is the setup for your future gamblers. Like that's how this
Oh
works.
yeah,
Okay? Like
yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese's, right? You play a game, you win tickets. Okay, cool. But
Hmm.
you don't win in the game, then you don't get any tickets and you lose all your coins. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So it's not like we've gotten to the point in society where, well, everything's bad. Oh my gosh, we got to be sheltered from everything. No, that's not the point. The point is if parents were doing their job and watching their kids and seeing what they're getting into instead of, oh, he's fine, sure, son, here's your credit card, here, sure, honey, here's your credit card, right? Then we wouldn't be in this mess. Because see, here's the thing: EA Sports comes out with a game every year. Why? Because they make money. NBA 2K comes out with a
Hmm.
game every year. Why? Because they make money. And they don't have to fix the game, by the way. That's the thing.
Oh yeah.
They don't have to fix anything. And they could have the same game, you just don't know it. But see, what I told somebody the other day is I said, here's how sports games work, right? It's the same game every year. The only differences are this: slightly enhanced graphics, slightly, barely, and new
Hmm.
gameplay mechanics. Other than that, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's the same game every year, but we still buy it every year because we expect something to be different. And with
Hmm.
eFootball, I do believe there's something to be different. It's going to be something to play at least. I mean, at the end of the day, granted, if it's supposed to come out on September 7th, which that is what I'm hearing on September 7th, right? Then I'm going to play it anyway because it's something. Guys, it's something to play. I mean, at the end of the day, it's been dead this whole summer. No new games coming out or anything like that. And at least with PES, they realized that, and that's why they're gonna roll it out like they are, the way they are, because it's something to play. I mean, at the end of the day. But then, as soon as I see, right, mobile graphics on console, I'm shutting it off. Honestly, guys, like, nah.
That's pretty
Like,
much what it is, though. A
well,
lot of
Royce,
people.
Royce, see, we need to
Mhm.
see it for ourselves because we can
Well,
believe
that's the
everybody
thing,
else,
though.
bro. Trust me. But see,
Yeah, no, that's the thing, though, because
there's no
that new
harm.
football. Yeah, no, here that new football beta that I told you about, that online beta that people played and stuff, and they were getting all hyped, like, bro, this is the new PES stuff. Everybody complained about the graphics and things like that, right? So then we expect them. Everybody said, "Well, no, yeah, no, they'll fix it. They'll fix it by the time reveal comes, right?" So I said, "Okay, okay, I trust them." Bro, these graphics are the exact same. The gameplay is the exact same as well. You could just tell by looking at it that it's the exact same as the online beta. Like, guys, if you want to play PES early, you go and you download that new football game beta, and you literally have it right there in front of you. Like, that's the game. Like, you're not getting anything different. And that's literally the worst part. Like, the gameplay was very minimal. It was super easy to get past defenders. Obviously, they don't have that new 1v1 system, and I don't even think that's even all that, if I'm being honest. But there's just so much that you see from that online beta that's literally in this. Like, it's the exact same game. Like I said, I'm still gonna try it. Maybe it's different when you actually play it. Most games are different when you
Oh
actually
yeah,
play it.
100%. Except,
But
here's the thing.
mhm,
Again, Royce, you're good at these
yeah,
things. So I trust your judgment. I trust your opinion. Now, granted, if it costs money, then hell no, I'm not testing that out. You know what I mean?
no,
But at the
definitely
end of
not.
the day, it's free. So again, here's the thing. If you do want a sports game to play, right? Play it with an open mind. If you want to play it with an open mind, I understand that. I will play it with an open mind because it's a free game. I mean, at the end of the day, if something's free, sign me up. I don't care what it is, okay? I will play it just to see how it is.
Mhm.
So, yeah, in conclusion, it's one of those things, man. Like it's one of those games where we weren't expecting it to be free or anything like that, but we also weren't expecting it to be on all platforms, right? Literally every platform. When they say cross gen and stuff like that, no, this is cross gen. Like this is everything, okay?
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, we can try it out, experience it. If we don't like it, then boom, boom, it's out. It's right down the drain. Okay. But at the end of the day, I do appreciate everyone for listening. If you listen for a full hour, in the comment section, here's a secret word. Okay, Royce, what is the secret word that people should type in the chat if they literally listened all the way through?
Ooh. Could I do a phrase?
Yes.
All right. If you listen to the entire video till the end, okay, I want you to put in the chat, bring back PES.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Hashtag bring
Okay.
back PES
Okay.
in the
Bet.
chat.
Bet.
Okay.
Yeah. A
That's
hundred
what I want
percent.
you guys to do.
So.
Because this is just not good, bro. It's just not.
Okay. So
So yes,
shout.
bring hashtag bring back PES.
100% agree with you, Royce. So bring back Pez in the chat if you made it 1 hour in with us. Obviously, see, with these, you can literally just listen to them. There is going to be no gameplay in the background or anything like that, strictly because, I mean, it's just one of those things. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I don't have time to be putting in clips and everything like that. So
Oh yeah, of course.
this is going to be raw footage and everything like that. Obviously, I did have a couple technical little difficulties throughout the thing, but at the end of the day, you all get the message, okay? And yeah, go ahead and subscribe to JJ Tubb. His link is in the description. His Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Go ahead as well. His YouTube channel, which he's going to be producing some WWE content very soon. Once 2K22 WWE comes out in the
Yes,
fall.
sir. Oh, and FIFA 22
That's
content as
right.
well. So
That's
we're
right. The Creative Club and all
possibly
that.
2K as well.
Yes.
So yeah, it's gonna be very fun. I'm super excited for when those games come out because yeah, I do have some ideas in mind. I won't say it now, but Dom knows what I have in mind so far. But yeah, it's gonna be very fun, very fun.
100%. Okay, guys, appreciate you all listening. If you enjoyed, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll be talking to you all in a bit. We will be doing more of these, okay? The next one I think
100%.
we will be doing after this one, real quick, is going to be some Battlefield. It's not going to be as long as this one, I feel like, only because,
Yeah, not a lot
it's
to
a
talk
shooter,
about.
okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, appreciate you, and have a good one. Peace.
Peace.